Hello Tactician, I'm Professor Blep, here to bring you the rundown for TFT Set 14, Cyber City. Whether you're a new or returning player, this video will help you get acquainted with the new set. I'll be going over the new set mechanic, as well as all the new traits with some tips on how to play them. But don't worry, I'll be keeping things spoiler light, so I won't be going into every detail of the new set, but just enough so you don't take a wrong turn down a street somewhere. Let me be your guide into Cyber City. Let's get hacking. This cyberpunk-themed set features hacks as the main mechanic. The first kind of hack you'll see is the opening encounter. Cyber City contains some pretty unique ones, unlike the ones you may be used to. These can warp the game pretty significantly. You'll need to learn how to adapt your game to these brand new conditions. The other hacks are scattered throughout the game and can take different forms. For example, hack loot orbs, carousels, or even special events that happen on some rounds. The most important category to know about though are the augments. You may encounter some choices where your left slot only shows a specific subtype of augment, for example, build around as shown here. This restricts what types of augments can show up in this slot, giving you a better shot at specific ones that you might want to aim for. Another you'll see quite a lot are an augment choice between one higher tier augment or two augments of a lower tier. One tip for these, on average, the two augment choice is going to be better than the one, so if you see two good augments that you want, you should usually take it. Do keep in mind though, the hacked augments come with a bit of gold incentive, so make sure to take that into account when deciding between the two. And that's pretty much all there is to hacks, pretty simple, just slight variations on existing mechanics. Unlike the anomaly round from last set, which focused on one big decision in the middle of the game, hacks scatter smaller decisions throughout your game, but aren't any less impactful. The augment hacks in particular are really going to test your evaluation skills. But enough about hacks, let's look at the traits. First up is the Anima squad. Each tier of the trait, you'll get a choice between two weapons that fire automatically throughout the fight, increased by starring up your Anima squad units and as the game goes on. It's kind of like a summon trait, but without the summon on your board. Most of the weapons should be pretty similar in power level. You're really choosing between single target and AoE, or magic damage and physical. Try to lean towards physical damage weapons though, as your forecast carry is Xayah, who is a physical damage dealer, allowing you to also make use of any Sunder items that you've built. Your main tank in this comp is Leona, and the trait provides you with a second Vanguard with Silas. On level 8, make sure to add in another marksman like Aphelios, but you may also want to hold on to the 2-cost Jhin because he also has Dynamo, which synergizes with your 5-cost in this comp, Aurora. Next up, the Street Demons. Similar to Set 10's KDA, Street Demons will paint hexes in various different patterns on your side of the board. Putting any unit though, not just Street Demons, in one of these hexes provides a unit with a buff. You'll notice some hexes will be signature hexes, which grant 1.5 times the bonus. And whatever square Street Demons are in will get double that bonus. So for example, putting a Street Demon in a signature hex will get 3 times the listed bonus. The Street Demons have a great built-in synergy with 2 strategists, Nico and Echo, in the comp, as well as 2 techies, Zyra and Brand. So on level 8, your main tank and carry already have a trait in place. Nice. For any extra units, simply add in more strategists. Yumi in particular is great, as her amp trait synergizes with the 5-cost Samira. Our last vertical is Exotech. Similar to Set 13's Academy, each game there'll be 3 items listed with the trait. As you activate each tier, you get one of these items one by one. Unlike Academy though, everyone gets a different combination of items, which means you may have a better Exotech spot than others, so make sure to check these at the beginning of the game. Each item is either a tank or DPS item and gives you a suggestion on who to equip it on. In terms of power, they're a bit more than a crafted weapon. Your main tank in this comp is Sejuani, and you also get Jax as another Bastion. Most often your carry is going to be Zeri, so you'll want to add in another rapid fire champion like Draven. But unlike the last 2 verticals, this trait doesn't have a 5-cost, which makes playing 7 Exotech a little less appealing. You'll probably find yourself splashing 3 Exotech pretty often. For example, Sejuani, Jax, Zeri are going to be a really common trio that you'll see on many boards. If you're new to Cyber City, I definitely recommend one of those 3 comps to get started with. Each of them have some great built-in synergy already and are very easy to play as you're learning the new set. But once you're more comfortable, why not try one of these traits? Boombots will fire missiles based on the damage they deal and they take. It's similar to Honeymancers from set 12. To get to 6 Boombot though, you will need an emblem and the 5 cost Ergot, so you won't always be able to max out this trait. But if your primary tank or carry is a Boombot, it's really good to splash in at least 2 Boombot for that extra damage. Divinicorp is a trait you'll see a lot of, but it's going to be more of a support trait than a primary. Each Divinicorp champion provides your team a different buff, increasing in power as you field more Divinicorp units. Now, Divinicorp champions do end up getting double the bonus, so a full Divinicorp board does provide a lot of buffs to each other and can work if you find your 5 cost Renekton. More commonly though, these are great filler units to activate any 2 trait on your board with an added bonus. Rast and Gragas are 2 units you'll probably see quite a lot of as they give a good frontline boost, which is always useful. Golden Ox is a trait focused, unsurprisingly, on gold. Your Golden Ox units have a chance to drop gold on kill, and as you spend money, you can grow the golden tree, which provides them with even more damage. But you can't spend it all at once. Each round, you'll need to hit a certain limit, which increases each time you hit the number. Rerolls also give you double the value, providing 4 gold worth of growth. While you get to farm more gold with higher tiers of the traits, the damage bonus actually doesn't change that much. So most of the time, if you have a Golden Ox unit as your primary damage, you almost always want to splash 2, but rarely go for 6. Syndicate allows you to choose 1 or 2 units as a Kingpin, which gives bonus stats and unlock a bonus effect on their ability. The chosen unit is key to the comp, so if you are playing Syndicate, you'll usually want to re-roll for that unit, either Shaco or Twisted Fate, sometimes both, to get them as powerful as you can. Your other option is to go for Misfortune on level 8, but you'll usually then only splash 3 Syndicate as you don't really need that second Kingpin hat. Cypher is the lose streak cash out trait of the set, always a favorite. While active, you'll gain intel for any losses, with bonus intel from maintaining a loss streak, but also for killing units. More Cypher units builds up your intel faster. Then at specific points in the game, you'll be given the option to trade any intel you've collected for loot. But you can only do this once. After you cash out, you'll no longer build intel again, but in return you get a nice stat boost for Cypher units. Nitro is a 1 and 2 cost reroll focused trait. Your Nitro units will drop Chrome to power up your robot, but if your units have a higher star level, they provide more Chrome, which means you'll want to reroll for 3 star on your 1 costs Kindred and Nidalee, who are also going to be your main carries. Once you've started up enough Nitro units, you just need to wait for 200 Chrome to finally power up into the T-Hex. Now, since this trait only has 4 units, you will have to look to higher cost units to fill in traits. What units you put in usually depend on whether you itemize Nidalee or Kindred. Cyberboss is another small trait, and similar to Syndicate is about powering up 1 unit, unlocking a bonus effect on their ability. But if you field all 4 Cyberboss units, all the abilities will upgrade, but keep in mind only your big boss gets those extra stats, so 2 Cyberboss is going to be the most important and most often what you'll want to play. Amp is a trait that's going to scale your unit's abilities in various different ways as you add more Amp units. For example, for each Amp unit you field, Annie's abilities hits more targets. Each unit is going to have a slightly different bonus, so you'll have to read the tooltips to see what they do. If your main carry is an Amp unit, it's generally a good idea to go as deep into Amp as possible to get the most out of your trait. If you are playing Amp, Strategists actually tie particularly well with the trait, since Yuumi is a Strategist already, and if you find Samira, you can play Nico and Echo for more Strategist and Street Demon. Speaking of Strategist, this is a really flexible trait that gives defensive stats to your front line, but also offensive stats to your back line. Perfect as a splash in really any comp. But you can also play it as a vertical to pretty good effect. Echo and LeBlanc are both 2 costs, so present a great reroll option, while Nico and Ziggs pair together well as 4 costs. As for the remaining traits, they're pretty standard ones that you probably have seen in a previous set. Bastion, Bruiser, and Vanguard are our frontline traits for the set. Executioner is the crit trait, Marksman and Slayer are AD traits, Rapid Fire is attack speed, Techie is AP, and Dynamo is the mana trait. And that is it for this rundown. Don't worry, there's plenty more to discover in the streets of Cyber City, but that's best left to you to experience for yourself. We'll have to wait and see what comps emerge on top in the meta, but at least this will give you a general idea of how all the traits work and some synergies to get you started. As always, if you found this video useful, please like and comment so that others can find it easier, and if you want to be notified when new guides drop, make sure to subscribe as well. Until then, class dismissed.